Que con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América, estamos transmitiendo desde hermosa 1470 M, 96.9 FM. Les habla Lilia Galindo, tengo a Dennis Anderson de LCSW Medical Group. Él es un trabajador social con licencia y vamos a darle la bienvenida. Good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you, Lilia.
I'm so glad to have you here. What do you have for today? For today?
Well, what we have is some very significant events coming up in the next weeks for the veterans of our Antelope Valley, and they're the groups that High Desert Medical Group has a continuing support for, and there are three groups that we have a continuing support, and then a couple more in addition to them. But there is Coffee for Vets, of course, and you and I know about Coffee for Vets.
Of course.
Every week we have about 100 veterans who come to breakfast at Crazy Autos Diner in Lancaster on Avenue I. And this was the one where your esposo, Ed Galindo, was responsible for, took on the mission of distributing our U.S. Constitution in English and in Spanish for our veterans of armed service. So Coffee for Vets is one of our continuing areas of support.
Okay, Dennis, let me translate that before I forget it.
Sí, cómo no.
And if you want to practice your Spanish, you are welcome to, ¿eh? Okay. Dennis Anderson nos está hablando que hay muchas, en las próximas semanas va a haber eventos importantes para organizaciones no lucrativas que apoyan a los veteranos aquí en el Antelope Valley y que High Desert Medical Group ha apoyado. Dice, son varias. Dice la primera en donde Ed Galindo también participó, se llama Café para Veteranos. Dice, ellos se reúnen cada martes en Crazy Autos y tienen aproximadamente 100 veteranos que vienen todos los martes a desayunar con ellos. Y mi esposo ahí entregaba las constituciones en inglés y en español para que los veteranos pudieran enterarse exactamente qué dice la constitución. Okay, after that, the next one is...
Yes, and what I wanted to say is, for any veteran who needs information, and this is information about benefits, for information about getting housing, or information about what rights or services that they need access to, every Tuesday morning at Crazy Autos for Coffee for Vets, that is the place to come to. Y también tenemos veteranos que están latinos, mexicano-americano, también de Central América. Estos son veteranos de servicios de Estados Unidos y ellos también necesitan acceso a servicios, a pagar para la renta, al ayudar con salud. Todo esta información está distribuyendo cada martes en el Crazy Autos en Lancaster por la Avenida I. Y es una buena reunión y el desayuno es, ¿cómo se dice?
Huge. Muy grande.
Yeah, muy grande, pero también es muy barato específicamente para veteranos.
Ah, sí, sí. Les dan el café gratis, ¿no?
Es una gran oportunidad por acceso a servicios, Lidia.
Okay, perfecto. Crazy Autos efectivamente les da precios especiales a los veteranos. Creo que incluso les regala el café Pero además lo más importante es que pueden obtener toda la información que se requiere si quieren, si tienen problemas con la casa, si quieren saber de sus derechos, si quieren saber de los servicios que se ofrecen. El lugar para ir es Crazy Ottos los martes a las 7 de la mañana. Que tengan un delicioso café. Okay, let's continue with the next organization.
Okay. So another group that High Desert Medical Group has been in support of, and this is coming up very soon. This will be not tomorrow, El Sábado, but next week
Okay.
on the 4th of February. The 4th of February on 15th Street West at Grace Chapel, Grace Church. There will be what is called the Veterans Outreach. And the Veterans Outreach is another opportunity for veterans to go to have a little bit of breakfast in the morning and lunch at noon for free. But what you have there are service providers, maybe 20 or 25 of the service providers, and they help with mental health. They help with dental services. They help with getting your VA benefits to get registered for those. That is called the Veterans Outreach, and it is a 4-hour event that happens on Saturday, February 4, at Grace Church. And this event has been going on really since the 9/11 wars began, really for 20 years now.
Wow.
And the organizer is Pastor Steve Baker, but also dozens of veteran organizations.
And at what time is this event?
It is at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, February 4, at Grace Church. It is called the Veterans Outreach. And it really is to support veterans who are very low income or veterans who are homeless. This is the place where they can come and get something to eat. They can meet with their brothers and sisters, and there will be many organizations there that are there to help them and to support them directly on that day.
Bueno, este evento, amigos, que vamos a anunciar ahora es el próximo 4 de febrero y está destinado principalmente para veteranos de bajos ingresos y también para los que no tienen hogar en estos momentos. Este evento es organizado por un pastor que lo empezó a hacer desde septiembre 11, se llama Steve Baker, y muchas otras organizaciones participan. Va a ser el sábado 4 de febrero a las 10 de la mañana. Esta es en una iglesia que se llama Great Chapel, que está localizada en la calle 15 West de Lancaster, y se trata de alcanzar a todos los veteranos. Se les va a ofrecer desayuno y lunch gratis. También les van a dar servicios. Va a haber varios proveedores de servicios, entre 20 o 25. Entre ellos, pues ya saben, salud mental, servicio dental, que siempre es tan necesario para todos los veteranos. Es un evento que dura aproximadamente 4 horas, así es que no deje de asistir. Do you know, I know a lady who helped many veterans cutting their hairs, their nails, homeless, eh?
Yes, absolutely.
So
and that's and Lydia, I say, why is this important? One of the reasons it's important is we have so many veterans who live both indoors and outdoors in our Antelope Valley. We have homeless veterans, a couple of hundred of them, but people who served in the armed forces. I'm a veteran. They are people who went overseas for this country. They might have been conscripted, drafted, or they might have volunteered, but they gave service that put their lives at hazard. They were away from their families. They were overseas in very challenging circumstances sometimes. I remember my own years, both in Europe where we have a war going on right now, and in Iraq, and they did this. And sometimes when they come home, they have more problems in just living, in quality of life, and in social circumstances than many other people who got to stay home and go about their business. So this is why we need to care and why we should help when we can.
Perfecto, dice, bueno, estos veteranos, dice, yo también soy veterano, son veteranos que viven en casas, pero que también en estos momentos no tienen dónde vivir, y estas son personas que expusieron su vida, fueron a guerras, cruzando mares, y para pelear por las cosas de este país, así es que se pusieron en riesgo, dejaron a sus familias, algunos regresaron con enfermedades de tipo mental o a veces sin alguno de sus miembros, y entonces se trata ahora de ayudarles para que salgan de estos problemas, ¿no? Entonces, esta evento de veteranos es una gran oportunidad para proveerles los servicios a todos aquellos que están sin casa, que es algo terrible. Okay, what else do you want to...
And I know when we have our conversations together on Café con Leche, Lilia, that so many of the patients who we serve at High Desert Medical Group are Latino Americano. Many of them speak Spanish as their first or their primary language. But this also is a phenomenon of military service. Probably about 20% of all of our armed forces are Latino Americano. And that number will only grow. And for some of them, service in the armed forces has been their authentic way to become American citizens. So it's an important component of the life of our nation, but it is also an important component of people who are part of this country who are also of Latino heritage.
Thank you. Bueno, Dennis nos hace notar que aproximadamente 20% de las personas que contribuyen en las Fuerzas Armadas y de estos veteranos son de origen latino, un 20% que tuvieron, no sé, o se hicieron voluntarios para ir a la guerra y así tener la posibilidad de volverse realmente ciudadano americano. Así es que tenemos que reconocer y ayudar también a nuestros a todos nuestros veteranos, latinos o no latinos, pero es importante saber que los latinos también participan y que cada vez es un número más grande. Dennis, we're going